One of the sport's biggest stars, Jorge Masvidal, has signed a bout agreement to compete at UFC 287 on April 8th. Opponent, Gilbert Burns. Location, to be determined. Come on, UFC, send location. All right, let's hear your reaction to this fight booking. What can come out of this for Game Bread? This is supposed to serve as the co-main event of the evening, so more on that in the next topic. Turning to the host of Hablemos MMA for the first take, Danny, it's on you.
Yeah, this is a very important fight, and I actually made a video about this on my Spanish YouTube channel, Hablemos MMA. This is Jorge Masvidal's last real chance at a title run, and a lot of people are saying, well, how the hell does he even have a title run hopes in the first place? But hear me out. He's fighting Gilbert Burns, a guy that everybody, whether you like him or not, you have to respect, and you consider him as one of the very, very best in the world. Let's not forget, Leon Edwards is fighting Kamaru Usman in a trilogy bout in his hometown, no elevation. I mean, he's got a lot of good things going for him. Also, Kamaru Usman coming off one of the worst knockouts we've seen in 2023. If Leon Edwards wins and defends his title, it's not that crazy that Jorge Masvidal, with a win over Gilbert Burns, could earn himself a title shot, keeping in mind that the champion, Leon Edwards, has been like, yo, I got to get this one back, whether it's in the streets or the octagon. And certainly a huge fight. Masvidal, easily the biggest name, at least from the active fighters right now at 170 pounds. And it's not like we're asking for him to go on a crazy win streak, win 2-3 fights. We're just asking 15 minutes. 15 minutes from Masvidal. I know it's a tough ask still. Durinho Burns is certainly the favorite going into it. I'm going to pick Durinho Burns, and certainly, I expect them to win. But it's really not that far-fetched to think that with one fight, Jorge Masvidal can finally get a legit win in recent years, and then, have a claim for the belt, keeping in mind that, he's got a good win and he's got bad blood with the champion. So we'll see. A lot of things have to fall in place for this to happen, but don't be surprised if you see Jorge Masvidal fighting for a title in 2023. It's definitely in the possibilities, maybe not the most likely ones, but it's definitely in the cards.
Interesting take. We'll know more after the title fight, and then that leads into Masvidal Burns. Imagine if Edwards wins the trilogy, he'll be in Miami. Oops, did I let that slip? No, I'm just kidding. We did follow up with the UFC folks. That there is a rumor that it might be there, but they would not confirm. But imagine if they bring Edwards in. Ooh, a lot of heat. So that could even build up the fight even more. Next up is Goes. What do you think, man?
Well, I don't think they can even put him in the same building, man, but that would be intense. I like this fight for him, okay? But when you look at Jorge Masvidal in his career, like, nothing's easy, right? This is par for the course for him. All he does is fight top-level talent, and Gilbert is no different. Gilbert doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Burns, he can attack you from so many different angles. I think this fight's really going to come down to the scrambles. I think that's where Gilbert can kind of put fighters in bad spots. So I think Jorge has to be a smart fighter in this fight. It's a winnable fight, but it's an uphill climb, man. And the thing is, like, with Jorge Masvidal, I don't feel like it's do or die for his career, because much like Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, he's got a lot of lives, and a lot of people like to tune in and watch him fight, and he'll always have options. But I do think it is do or die in the sense of whether we want to see him ever fight for gold again. It's kind of a must win, man. And like Danny said, there are options there. If Leon Edwards can get that win and Jorge Masvidal can get that win, then yeah, the UFC, they'll do things like that. They can talk us into it. And you know what? As upset as we get at other situations when this happens, we probably won't hate this one that much because we feel like there's unfinished business. Both fighters want it. I think we would be okay with that if it happens. But first things first, he's got to get past Burns. And that is such a tough fight, man. I don't know if he could pull it off, but you never know with Jorge Masvidal.
You got me excited, Goes. I'm thinking of all the possibilities. But look, Colby Covington can't say too much. He hasn't been active. Khamzat Chimaev, he failed at his last attempt at 170. The only one that would be pissed at that is Bilal Muhammad, but he's kind of in the game. I think he would understand it. 3-piece and a soda, come on. And get this, what if they both lose? 3-piece and a soda, come on. But then Bilal Muhammad's, he's more worried about winning the title. All right, Fada, my head's spinning. How about you? What do you think of this matchup and everything that comes out of it?
Yeah, you just said it, and at Sky VZN El Daddy said it as well. If Leon and Gamebred loses, it can still happen. Exactly, that fight is still on the table. I think with Jorge like Danny had said, he is the biggest draw at 170. I think he's a fight that a lot of people won. And I know there was this notion that Gilbert Burns was saying, like, he doesn't want to fight me, he's ducking me. Masvidal doesn't duck anyone. If you look at his resume, the 3 losses have come twice to Kamaru Usman and once to Colby Covington. It's been pretty heavy grapple affairs for the most part. Of course, Kamaru managed to knock him out in the rematch. And Gilbert was doing well on the feet in that fight before getting stopped. But for me, it's like, which Gilbert Burns are we going to get? I know Burns is eager to get another shot at gold. He came close against Kamaru. He knocked him down. He had his moment in round 1 before getting finished. But if it's the Burns that we're seeing now, the kind of the tactical Burns we saw against Stephen Thompson, the tactical Burns we saw against Neil Magny, if he makes this a grapple-heavy affair against Jorge Masvidal, I think it'll kind of hurt Jorge Masvidal's stock in the regard that we just saw him lose to Colby Covington in that fashion. Now, he's not that easy to take down. He's got some grappling. He's got some wrestling. I don't think it's necessarily a hole in his game, but he happened to go up against Covington, who's a standout wrestler. Burns has obviously got amazing jiu-jitsu. So I think for Jorge Masvidal here, he's still a big name. I don't think his career is over, so to speak. Title picture, sure, especially that if Kamaru beats Leon Edwards, I mean, he's already lost to Kamaru twice. But I think here it depends on which Gilbert Burns we get, because I think Masvidal can have success in this fight. But if Burns wants to fight a smart fight and kind of just stifle Jorge, stack him against the cage and make this a grapple-heavy affair, like we saw what he did against Stephen Thompson, it's not going to get the crowd off of their feet, but it's also going to kind of hurt Masvidal to come off of 2 straight losses in that fashion. So I think it kind of depends on which Gilbert Burns we get. Are we going to see a stand-up war for 15 minutes? And even if Masvidal loses that, I think his stock or whatnot depends on the kind of fight we're going to see.